Hello, my friend. In this episode of Heal with Yen, I wanted to help you learn how to have a difficult conversation. So if you want to watch more videos like this and you don't miss a thing, please remember to hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Well, if this is the first time we meet, welcome. My name is Yen. I am a life coach and an author of a best-selling book on Amazon. So let's get started. Have you ever run into situations that you feel your need is not being met in a relationship? I'm sure we all have from time to time in all different relationships that we encounter in life. Instead of having a difficult conversation, we normally like to avoid it and run away because it's uncomfortable. And no one wants to get their feelings hurt. And worst of all, we run the risk of rejection or losing a very loved person we have in our life. That is scary. However, the consequences of not having difficult conversations from time to time to resolve the conflict we have in our relationship and making sure our needs are being adequately met, we allow cumulative amount of resentment and hurt to build up in our mind, in our heart, and in our soul. And it really takes a toll of our physical health and mental health and emotional health, and might even hurt our spirit. So having difficult conversation might be not the most comfortable thing to do, but it is very, very necessary in order to keep our relationship healthy. So let's get into it. Number one, I want to say the goal of having a difficult conversation is not to isolate people, not to destroy or harm or hurt people. It's really not to cause unnecessary pain. Having difficult conversation in a way that's effective can help us to strengthen our relationship and draws the other person and ourselves to closer relationship and get into a deeper area of trust and intimacy with each other. And doing so allows our bond to get stronger and more authentic and real. So it has so many benefits. It is really worth of learning the skill and give it a try. So number one, before you have a difficult conversation, be prepared. Give the other person a heads up. So tell them, hey, Joni, I would really love to find a time to talk to you. So let me know when you are available. That's important because giving a warning prepares the other person mentally to be in the situation to receive a difficult conversation so that you don't appear to be just randomly dropping in and like dropping a bomb. The other person is completely unprepared. That something can be very important and critical that is coming their way. So number two, make sure that you find a time and place that the other person feels ready and comfortable. They're not hungry, they're not in a hurry, they don't have to run, they're not stressed. Basically, they're mentally and emotionally and physically, they feel okay to actually receive, and they have the time to actually listen to you and have a conversation with you. And make sure that you conduct a difficult conversation in a private setting so the other person do not feel they're being humiliated or being exposed with their vulnerability in public. That can be very uncomfortable for some people and also for yourself. So number three, you start the difficult conversation with what you need more directly. And most of the time, people like to going around the conversation because they don't feel comfortable getting to the point. They feel shy about expressing what they need, the changes they wanted to see. And the whole point of having the conversation is to see the changes being made, is to see that your needs are being met, So in order to do that, let's start with that objective in mind and put it on the table. You can start a conversation with something like a I statement. I need you. I would really appreciate you can be on time when we have a meeting. I really need you to put your belongings in your room instead of laying them scattered all over the house. So starting with the I statement is really, really important. Means you're taking accountability for your own needs and wants, for your desires. You're not there to pointing finger at the other person. You're not there to blame. You're actually taking responsibility for your own needs. So make sure that you communicate that more directly and clearly and directly to the point. Number 4, tell people why you need them to do something or why you need to make the change. Sometimes a problem can be more confusing and difficult to understand than things that are simple. Please put your socks in your drawer. Don't put them in random areas because it looks messy. Obviously, that's a very, very easy thing for people to understand, but some other times the reason can be confusing and the reason can be really hard for people to understand. For example, I am a very sensitive person emotionally. I have some emotional sensitivity that is very difficult for people who are more logical and rational to understand. They don't mean to harm you or to hurt my feelings, and they do it because for the lack of understanding sometimes of my needs. So I used to avoid it because I feel uncomfortable and I build up resentment toward people I truly love in my life. And now I actually learned to express that in a way logically and also rationally to help the other person understand something that is emotional, that is spiritual, that is intangible, to help people understand why I need that and why it is important. It takes some art in order for you maybe to articulate it, and I can basically probably make another video on how to express your intangible needs, such as emotional need or the need of your soul or your spiritual need, to people who are more logical and rational so people can understand it. So number 5, be genuine, humble, and vulnerable. I know being vulnerable can feel like a weakness sometimes, but being vulnerable in an effective way communicates that you are human and you have needs. And it is actually beautiful and it can be very, very genuine. It actually draws you closer to the other person. It shows that you are not bulletproof. You are not the person that you are so independent that you have no needs. You don't really need in a relationship. It shows you that you have a soft spot, that you genuinely need the other person to take care of something, that you have needs in a way that is healthy. And it actually shows your leadership, that you're also holding yourself accountable for communicating your need in a relationship that puts the other person in a position they can contribute something in your life. People love to contribute. People love to feel they have values. They can really be helpful in your life. And I know in the Western culture, it is really hard to communicate vulnerability. It can make us feel we are weak or we are being too fragile. But in reality, we are being vulnerable does not mean we are hopeless, that we cannot do anything ourselves. We're simply showing the area of our lives that other people can be sensitive of, and they can actually contribute something into our lives in a way that is truly, truly beautiful without being overly dependent, which we call codependency. So make sure that you're being genuine and humble as well. Put yourself down. Communicate in a way that you're not showing entitlement or you make the other people feel that there is a pride, like the other person owes you. Sometimes we can get hurt not having our needs met. We come across as feeling entitled because of being hurt repetitively or being rejected with our needs in the past. So humble yourself, just communicate in a way that being vulnerable, but without entitlement and pride. You can say things like, I'm a very sensitive person emotionally. My feeling can get hurt when people just dropping into my life and asking for my time and for my availability, because I do care and I do really, really love to help you, and I really love to make time for you in my schedule. I would really appreciate in the future, maybe we can have a weekly checkup call to express when we wanted to get together. If you can tell me when you are available, I will try my best to drop you the time I can carve out for you to put in my calendar. And that way I don't feel rushed. That way I don't feel that I'm being interrupted, that it's not random. It can make me feel like an emotional roller coaster when I am attending people's needs while not have any planning or unannounced. So say in a way that you're expressing your needs, genuine and vulnerable, and ask for the other person's consideration and meeting your needs and being respectful when they actually wanted to connect with you. So number 6, make sure that you ask questions. Ask questions and listen to understand the other person's point of view and listen to understand the other person's perspective. I know sometimes when we get hurt, we can come across as being offended. So asking questions in a way, say things like, I want to understand that why when we meet, you tend to be always late, that you are running 15 minutes or 30 minutes late. Or tell me that when you need my help, that you always seem to come in the last minute, that I feel unprepared, but I wanted to understand the reason contributing to that you're doing things in a certain way. And be willing to listen without being offended. Stay calm and allowing the other person to talk so you can actually diagnose what the problem is and understand why they're doing things a certain way that might have hurt you, which that is a valid point as well. So number 7, be prepared. If the other person tells you, I am so sorry, I'm just not really ready for a relationship, I am not available to basically give you a heads up or have a discussion with you and to get on your calendar, I can only just sporadically, randomly just drop in and out of your life because they're in a position they're just not capable. It's really not about you. You're not the cause of it. They're just not ready. So if that's the case, be prepared to have your consequences ready and communicate the boundary that you are going to have to draw in order to make sure that you're not being hurt and your needs are going to be met, staying in the relationship. Or in other case, you might have to walk away for a little while until the other person can meet your needs, and then you can re-engage and come back in their life. That is also okay. But either way, be prepared for drawing boundaries and have the consequences ready. And make sure you also offer to the other person that you are willing to wait, to give them time to think about the conversation and the discussion, to think about if there's anything they can do, there's any changes they can actually make. And you can walk away without having the answer, having the problem resolved, that you can walk away allowing the other person to think about it and then come back to you, and then you can negotiate, maybe find a solution that works for both of you. So thanks for listening. And if you found this helpful for you to conduct a difficult conversation with someone you truly love and care about, but you experience hurt and unmet needs, make sure that you give me a like in the button below and subscribe to my channel. As always, until next time, take care of yourself and your loved ones.